Hey guys, Frightener22 here, welcoming you back to the first day of my 31 Frightening Days of Halloween Marathon. It's hard to believe that a year's already passed since last year's 31 Frightening Days of Halloween Marathon, but after the big success that I had with that one, I knew that I wanted to treat you guys again to another 31 Frightening Days of Halloween related reviews. So enough of the introductory bullshit, let's go ahead and get right into day one's review. Tonight we're going to be taking a look at 1988's Pumpkinhead. This film was directed by Stan Winston, and and that name might seem really familiar to you movie buffs out there. Stan Winston was responsible for a lot of big, important makeup effects designs within the last 30 years, such as his work on Terminator 2 Judgment Day, the Penguin design in Batman Returns, the look of Edward Scissorhands in Edward Scissorhands. He's just a really world-renowned makeup artist, and sadly he actually passed away a few years ago, but in the mix of him doing, wonders for the makeup industry in Hollywood, he also tried a stab at directing, and his first directorial debut was, of course, 1988's Pumpkinhead, the movie we're going to be reviewing tonight. So let's go ahead and get right into what this film is all about. Basically, the plot of this film deals with a vengeful father who wants revenge on the city kids that come into his town who accidentally kill his young son. So he goes to basically like a witch-like character within this southern ghost-like town that he lives in, and she's known to have mythical powers of some sort, so he goes to her thinking that she can resurrect his son, but sadly she can't, so it turns out that instead he wants just nothing but revenge on the kids that brought the harm to his son, so she calls upon this vengeful demon, who of course is Pumpkinhead, this vengeful demon to just come back and extract, vengeance for him. So that's basically the basic plot line of this. And this is a film that, although it's 20 years old, it's a film that I feel like over the years, it's a little unsung, it's a little underrated. Not many people talk about it. I know horror fans do like it, but, in like the massive conversations that I have with people about horror films in general, Pumpkinhead just kind of falls to the sidelines. Is it a perfect film? No, not by any means. Is it 86 minutes of kick-ass fun? Of course it is. It's a really, really entertaining film, and a lot of that falls in part to the star of this film, who is hands down probably one of the best genre actors of the last 40 years. I'm talking about Lance Henriksen. I mean, you know him, he's been in Alien, Pumpkinhead, Scream 3. He's just a really, really familiar and famous face within this genre specifically, and he's really, really great as the father whose son is killed. And there's just something about Lance Henriksen's, his personality and just the way he looks at you in films that you just always feel like you're in deep shit and something bad's gonna happen to you. He just looks like, that father that you would never want to piss off because he's gonna kick your ass if you look at him the wrong way or something. He just has this really, really strong look about him, and I think that comes through a lot, but I think this is one of the few roles with Lance Henriksen that you really, he really walks on this thin line of, being really, really scared and intimidating and really emotional, especially after what happens to his young son. But he also is, very caring and loving for his young son. He's actually, like, he seems, at least early on in the movie, that he's like the best dad ever, and him and his son have like a really, really great relationship. So I think this is actually one of the better acting jobs that Lance Henriksen ever put to film. That's just my personal opinion. But yeah, he does really, really great in this. And the cool thing about this film is actually when it first kicks off, it takes place in like a flashback. And it takes place with Lance Henriksen's character when he's a child, and the vengeful demon, Pumpkinhead, has been around for, like, generations, from what you can assume in the flashback scene, and there's, this man that, like, runs up to, like, the log cabin that him and his parents live in. So I'm imagining that this must be, like, either, like, the 50s or the 40s, like, somewhere around there, because they're living in this log-esque, cabin, and his father has like a loaded shotgun. So this man comes to the door bloodied and bashed and everything, saying that it's coming after me, let me in. And Lance Henriksen's father doesn't allow him in because he doesn't want any harm brought to his family. And interestingly enough, the man that is actually running up to their door is played none other than by Dick Warlock, and Dick Warlock was another world-famous stuntman. He was actually Kurt Russell's stunt double for well over 20 years, and he actually played Michael Myers in Halloween 2. Little fun fact for you guys. So that's just really cool, that whole, like, scene. It's a really cool, anticipation builder, and the best part is that you get a quick tease at Pumpkinhead that early in the film as he attacks Dick Warlock. It's really, really cool. Moving on, I'd like to talk about the design of Pumpkinhead. You can see him on my shirt and, of course, on the DVD. Really, really killer design. I think it's one of the most, like, original-looking monster designs ever to take place in the 80s. I just love the design of this character. And sadly, considering that Stan Winston was so busy with directorial duties, among many other things, he didn't really have enough time to pay attention to the character and the makeup design as Pumpkinhead as much as he wanted to. Although I've never really heard or read in any interviews that Winston was ever really disappointed or had any problems with the way it came out. But thankfully, maybe it's a good thing that he didn't touch it, because I think the final product of the makeup design for Pumpkinhead looks really, really fantastic. And the cool thing about this is that the kills in it are actually really, really cool. I mean, once Lance Henriksen's character actually calls upon Pumpkinhead to come back, and he finally, finds the city kids that are more or less responsible for the accidental death of his son, shit really starts to hit the fan, and this thing is just a really, it's just a really relentless monster. I mean, it just does not stop until it gets blood, and I mean, these kids get it, and they get it really, really fucking good in this movie, so I've always dug that. And in closing, at the end of the movie, it's really, really cool, because Lance Henriksen basically comes to terms that, like, this probably wasn't the best idea, that he shouldn't have called upon this vengeful demon to get rid of these kids, because it was an accident, so he becomes feeling guilty. But Pumpkinhead and Lance Henriksen's character, since Lance Henriksen did, revive Pumpkinhead, they basically become one in each other. So Pumpkinhead kind of begins to develop the face of Lance Henriksen, while Lance Henriksen's eyes become all bloodshot and really, really freaky. I was watching it last night, and it was getting pretty late, and just seeing those eyes on Lance Henriksen were just friggin' terrifying, man. I was so spooked out. It had been such a long time since I'd seen this film, but that really caught me off guard and really spooked me. So Lance Henriksen pretty much calls in, throws in the towel and just tells the girl that the surviving female of the movie that she just needs to kill him. She just needs to empty a fucking barrel of bullets into him and just end it. That way Pumpkinhead can finally be laid to rest. And, of course she does. So, I mean, like I said before, is this a perfect film? No. But is it really entertaining? Of course it is. It's really, really cool. And in a day and age where we live in nothing but remakes, I'm really, really surprised that a film like Pumpkinhead, which is really like a southern monster movie, has not, been brought to the table for, a remake or a reboot treatment. And I think there's something really charming about that, knowing that a movie that's this fun and that good hasn't gotten the remake treatment yet. So if you've never seen this movie, I would absolutely recommend checking it out this Halloween season. And if you have and just haven't, checked it out in a while, take it off your shelf and get the dust off of it, because this really is a real underrated gem. And it's a shame that Stan Winston didn't really have much else to give us after this film. He directed another film after this, and helped in part to develop the T2 ride for Universal Studios. And the last thing that he actually did was another unreleased film on DVD. It was a made-for-TV film called Ghost with Michael Jackson, actually. It was kind of like Thriller for the 90s. Most people don't really enjoy it, but I always really dug it. So hopefully that will be put to DVD sometime soon. But in closing, guys, this is a really, really kick-ass film, and one that should not be missed this Halloween season. So, as always, guys, thanks again for tuning in to my Halloween marathon, and be sure to stay subscribed so you can keep updated all month long, because there'll be a review coming each and every single day of October. Thanks again for tuning in. This is Frightener22.